Welcome to week 1. We're starting with pages 5 through 15 of Doug Schoon's new book, Advanced Nail Chemistry. These pages explain how nails are formed, the nail as an organ, the role of stem cells, and why the nail plate can't heal. We don't want to just read the science, we want to be able to apply it. Because science that stays on the page won't help you in the salon or at the table. Pages 5 through 7, the nail as an organ. On page 6, diagram 1-1 shows this visually. The nail plate, the matrix, the nail bed, the proximal fold, the cuticle, the hyponychium, and the lateral folds. Doug explains that nails aren't just plates sitting on top of the finger. They're a full organ system made of different structures working together. Why call it an organ? An organ is any body part made up of different tissues working together for a shared purpose. The nail unit fits that definition. Its shared purpose is to protect fingertips, support fine motor skills, and provide sensitivity and grip. Let's look at what each part contributes. This is just a basic overview for week 1. The nail plate, the hard keratin structure we see and work on, it's non-living tissue layered like shingles. The nail matrix, the factory where new nails are created. The nail bed holds and supports the plate as it grows forward. The proximal nail fold, the protective fold of skin covering the root of the nail. The cuticle, a thin protective seal that guards the space between the fold and the plate. The lateral folds protect the sides of the nail. The hyponychium, the seal under the free edge, blocking dirt and pathogens. For now, think of diagram 1-1 as just a map of the nail organ. In week 2, we'll study each structure in detail. We'll learn what happens when those parts are damaged. Let's apply that to the desk. Cutting or scraping away the cuticle breaks the nail's natural seal and exposes the matrix to infection. Overfiling weakens the plate, but it also compromises the protection it provides to the sensitive bed underneath. Respecting nails as an organ shifts the mindset. You're not just decorating keratin, you're maintaining a living protective system. At this point, I want you to pause the video and do a self-check. In one sentence, explain why nails qualify as an organ. Write it down before moving on. The nail matrix is the root, the place where growth begins. It's packed with stem cells, which are master builders of the nail organ. So what's a stem cell? A stem cell is a special type of cell that can both make exact copies of itself, so supply never runs out, and can transform into a different type of cell when needed. That's pretty cool. In the nail matrix, one stem cell divides into 2. One stays as a stem cell, keeping the factory alive. The other one becomes a daughter cell, which moves upward and transforms into a keratinocyte. Keratinocytes flatten, harden, and eventually form the layers of the nail plate. Now, how do we apply that at our desk? Every nail you work on today was born weeks ago in the nail matrix. Any damage you see on the plate already happens in the past. When a client asks, "Can you fix this nail?" the honest answer is, we can protect it. We can cover it. We can wait for it to grow out. The body cannot repair what's already non-living. Okay, it's time to pause again for another quick self-check. If a client asks you how their nail fixes itself, what's one short answer you can give that's accurate but easy to understand? I want you to write that right down. Pages 12 and 13, nails grow forward. As cells form in the matrix, they push the older ones forward. In skin, those old cells just kind of flake off naturally. In nails, they compress and stack into the hard, layered plate. How do we apply this to the nail desk? Filing doesn't hurt because the plate is non-living, but overfiling does matter because once you thin it, you've permanently weakened the record of what the matrix created. It will not heal. It must grow out. This is why safe removal matters. Ripping or peeling product doesn't just take off the product. It tears away layers of keratin that took weeks to grow. That damage stays until the nail fully replaces itself. Let's pause here and do another quick self-check. Why is ripping or peeling the product off more damaging than filing? Write one short explanation you could use with a client. Now pages 14 and 15, lively cells and the backup stem cells. Doug calls dividing stem cells lively cells. They aren't just alive, they're active, constantly producing and changing. On page 15, figure 1.4 shows the most of these cells are in the matrix, just under the proximal fold. Doug also explains that the nail bed contains reserve stem cells. They don't do much in everyday growth, but if the nail bed is injured, they can activate to help the repair. How do we apply that information to our nail desk? If you damage the matrix with an e-file or repeated aggressive prep, you may permanently change how those stem cells divide. That's how ridges or deformities develop and never fully go away. If a nail is ripped off or crushed, sometimes reserve stem cells in the nail bed step in, but not always. That's why no tech should promise full regrowth after trauma. To clients, the message is simple. Respect the base, protect the folds, and don't chase shortcuts. That risks permanent damage. Now, quick self-check again. If another tech promised a client their crushed nail would fully regrow, what one-sentence response would you give that respects the client but stays science-based? Just pause the video here and write that down. Let's talk about practical client language. Instead of saying nails are dead, which makes clients think, why does it matter then? Try to say, the part you see is non-living, like hair, but underneath it's alive and working hard to create every future nail. That's why we need to protect it. The key takeaways from this week's reading: nails are an organ system, not just a plate. The matrix is a factory, protect it. Stem cells are the master builders. They copy themselves and create keratinocytes. The nail plate is non-living. It can't heal, only grow out. Reserve stem cells in the bed may help repair after trauma, but they're limited. Overfiling, cuticle damage, and shortcuts affect not just today's nails, but every future nail the matrix produce. Homework, week 1 for pages 5 through 15. Number 1, a summary in your own words. Write 150 to 200 words explaining how nails are formed. Focus on the role of the matrix, stem cells, and keratinocytes. Number 2, imagine a client asks if their damaged nails can heal. Write how you would explain this in under 100 words using simple, everyday language. Number 3, a scenario question. You see a client with a gouge in their nail plate. Explain how knowing the nail plate is non-living changes the way you would talk to a client, choose your service or product, and plan their follow-up care. Number 4, reflection. On page 14, Doug describes stem cells as lively cells. What does that mean to you, and why does it matter for how you think about nail growth and nail services? Number 5 is communication practice. We want you to sit down with a non-nail tech friend, family, coworker, what have you. and in 3 to 5 minutes, explain to them the key points from week 1. Nails are an organ, not just a plate. The nail plate is non-living and cannot heal. The matrix and stem cells create every new nail. Ask the person to tell you back what they understood in their own words. Time for reflection. 100 to 150 words. How confident did you feel explaining that? What was the easiest to explain? What was the hardest for them to understand? And if you had to do it all over again, what would you change? Finally, after your homework, we do have a quiz at the end of the week, and it's open book. We want you to get this right. We want you to read the science again and again. Here's a little hint. We even give you the page number to look on. It is important when you're learning to get the science right, to read it over and over again. That's it for week 1. You have the transcript, you have the video, you have each homework in an individual section where you can answer right in the program on the Healthy Nails Collaborative website for you. We have made it as easy as possible. Each time you come back, just log in and you can pick up right where you left off. See you in week 2.